everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. It is Debbie DeGroat, and I have a special guest today. You're going to love this guest. He's actually going to give you secret tips and techniques that's going to make you lots of money and pretty effortlessly, actually. So you're going to want to pay attention. This webinar potentially could be a webinar that changes the course of your career, and I don't say that lightly. So Nick, no pressure here. But Nick was a guest previously, and so many of you, including here, my staff as well, took the actions that Nick recommended and now want more of Nick. Some of you have never met Nick, so I'm glad you're here. And we're going to talk about how Nick has created a system where his team has collected 2,100 five-star reviews, how exactly they go about that. And also, Nick, I want you to tell them a little bit about, where you're located, why this was so important, and then also what's been the actual quantifiable GCI benefit, gross closed commission benefit. And then we're going to get this party started. And so for all of you, as we go, feel free to type your questions in the chat box. I don't want to interrupt Nick too much once he gets on the roll here, because we're going to hit it hard and fast. But Nick, what we'll do is I'll keep an eye on the chat box, and then we'll come back at the end if there's some questions that maybe you haven't answered. Okay? So
Okay.
Nick, why don't we start with, where you guys are located and how they contact you if they have an awesome referral, because I think they're going to just love what you do here today. And then tell us your story.
Yeah, I love that. So guys, I'm based out of Maryland. For those of you who don't know where Maryland is, which most people struggle, we are dead center of the East Coast. If you think Washington, D.C., we're just above D.C. So we handle pretty much the entire state of Maryland. There's 2 or 3 small pockets, but if you call me and I don't handle that, I'll give you the referral of who's there. So please, if you've got anybody moving to Maryland, that's what I do. I sell real estate. So as I'm coming on here and I'm talking and I'm teaching, I'm talking to you guys, lower your expectations. If you want a professional speaker or somebody who's nailed this or has this whole speech prepared, let's lower those expectations, because I'm a real estate agent just like you guys.
Yeah. So they just want to make the money, Nick. So let's talk about, first of all, why do we think reviews are so important? So I want to share a couple thoughts. I want to turn that over to you. But in the world of persuasion, and actually, guys, there is a report out there. You could Google it. You could find it. The 6 ways people are persuaded. This is not a real estate thing, right? This is just a fact of, they call it the blink mechanism. We all have so much going on in our life and our world. We rely on certain things to trigger us to make a decision. So for example, one of the 6 ways is scarcity. How often have we said legitimately to a buyer, there is only one property available matching your budget and criteria, and it has multiple bids. If we don't submit today, we will lose it. See, that's the principle of scarcity, right? But also, of the 6 ways, one is social proof. Social proof is super powerful. Reviews are social proof. So if we all do it, right? If you Yelp a restaurant and you see that it has 1 review or it has 1,500 reviews, where do you feel more comfortable, right? So I think, Nick, now more than ever in our world today, the reviews are so important because 20, 30 years ago, we weren't all living on Yelp looking at reviews, but it's such a cultural mindset to believe more reviews equal a greater value, don't you think?
And Debbie, I'm glad you brought up Yelp, because Yelp used to be the place you would go if you wanted a restaurant. Mm-hmm. Angie's List used to be the place you would go if you wanted a contractor. And Google has figured out that why are we sending all this traffic to Angie's List and to Yelp? Why not just give the people what they want and keep them on Google longer? So what you're seeing is you go to a different city and you want to go to dinner, you pull up restaurants near me. One of them has 9 5-star reviews and one of them has 2,147. Which restaurant are you going to? Now, remember, these are complete strangers. You don't know anybody who's left a review, but you're going to select your dinner place based on what the crowd, based on what the source of your, hey, if that's what all my neighbors are doing, maybe that's what I need to do. And real estate is no different.
Right. So then let's talk about Google reviews versus like getting your reviews on Zillow or somewhere else. Because I know you really are a fan of the Google reviews, correct?
I'm a fan of the Google, and I'm a fan of the Google because I've already made the mistakes outside of the Google. Okay. I went to Zillow, and we put all our time, effort, and energy in Zillow. And we ran up to, I think we have 1,000 reviews on there, 1,100 reviews on there, something like that. And that was great when Zillow was able to share everyone's information equally and the consumer got to choose. But the second Zillow decided, wait a minute, we need to make money off of these people coming to our site. So now we want 35, 38, 40, 42% referral fees. They don't want to send clients to me if I'm not paying them, no matter how many reviews I had. So I realized very quickly that playing a game on Zillow, you're playing in their playing field. Like if they decide to make a change, if they decide to do something different, you're out. And then I thought about Facebook, and that's a place to have some reviews, but how many people actually see your particular Facebook page? Not very many. But if I know there's a search engine, 95% of the population is going to, the other 5% go to Bing, but 95% of them go to this one site and they type in, I want a plumber, I need an electrician, I need a roofer, I need a real estate agent. I want to be the one to come up where 95% of the population is looking. And I need a way to stand out against everybody else. Have you ever seen on social media where an anonymous poster in a neighborhood group says, we're thinking about selling our house. Does anybody know a realtor? And it's like, there's no way anybody in their right mind is reading all those and trying to figure out who to use. In fact, how do you decide? There's no ratings. There's no telling who's good, who's not good. They're going to go to somewhere they trust, like Google, that's giving them reviews and they had a great meal and that plumber that came out did a really good job. So why not trust them for a real estate agent?
Well, in Google, so in the 6 ways people are persuaded, another one is authority. Wall Street Journal is considered an authority. Google is considered an authority. Mm-hmm. Google is my friend. Like I'm in there all the time. Like it's like Google it. Google it's become a phrase, right?
Think about how much trust you have in Google.
Right.
Like if my shoulder hurts, I'm going to put in acute shoulder pain and it's going to give me a bunch of stuff. Or man, I got a really scratchy throat. What do I do about that? Like anything and everything I go to Google for. And it's crazy that I'll take medical advice from Google, or like I'll see some supplement and I'm like, oh, I wonder what that is. And it'll tell me, yeah, yay, nay, whatever. And I believe that that's my source. So probably a little too trusting of Google, but that's the reality of how we live.
The reality. So if we have, we've got authority of Google, then they go in and then they see your 2,147 reviews. Now that's social proof. Mm-hmm. And now what has that done for you guys? And then we'll break it down to the nuts and bolts of how they do what you've done.
Yeah. So I think if you look at what it's done for us last year, we closed 47 units for $500,000, 497,000 in GCI last year alone. It has now become 10% of our total business for the year.
Okay, but wait, I want him to know that wasn't all the units you closed.
Oh, no, that was 10%.
Units from Google. right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we're talking $500,000 of GCI directly linked to, hey, I saw you on Google. Are you still taking clients? Hey, I saw you on Google. Would you consider working with us? Like, these are the type of people that are reaching out.
Okay.
And now, as things, just like always, things are building like a snowball. We had 3 sellers last night that reached out, and then we had another buy, sell, and another seller this morning. So that is just in the last 24 hours. And I only know that because right before this started, I texted my ISA and said, hey, do we have any Google leads come in? She was like, oh my God, spring has sprung. And that's exactly what I heard. When someone reaches out and says, are you willing to work with us? Or can you take on more clients? They've already decided they want to work with us. They've already believed everything they've read, and we live up to it. But they've read it, they've researched it, and they've decided this is the team I want. And now they want to make sure we want them. I can't tell you, there's not a better lead than somebody saying, will you work with me?
Yeah. Are you still accepting clients? I love it that you said they say that to you. Now, really quick, I feel like I heard you say something once that kind of the magic to first shoot for is get to 1,000 reviews, because then the organic SEO starts to kick in. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm not telling you guys, hey, go out and get 5 more reviews and all of a sudden your phone's going to blow up. It's not going to happen like that. And it didn't happen like that for us as well. When we decided to walk away from Zillow and move to Google, I think we had 112 Google reviews at that time, and it was 2020 or 2021, something like that. And we decided, all right, if we're going to walk away from Zillow, we need our new source. So this is where we started. And we worked all of our past clients, all of our vendors, everybody we knew, and it was a slog. We went from, jump to 200. And then it was like, all right, let's set a goal to get to 300. And then it was, let's set a goal to 500. Let's set a goal to 750. Let's set a goal to 1,000. And we hit 1,000. We had a big celebration. We brought in balloons. It was a big deal. And then we were like, I wonder if we can go from 1,000 to 1,500. That was a big jump, but it was year after year after year after year. We didn't go from 100 to 2,000. It took years of doing that, but we saw a major change as soon as we hit 1,000. Mm-hmm. And the reason is
you have to be relentless.
Yeah, right? It's nonstop. We track it every single week. We scoreboard it every single week. We give, I'll get into some of that stuff later, but like everything we do is focused on getting that 5-star review.
And I think, tell me if I'm wrong on this, like there's really no limitation. Like for an example, today, when you show them your system later, if they loved your presentation, they can go in and give you a review, correct?
Yeah, anybody can give us a review.
And you mentioned vendors and affiliates, because somebody here might be saying, hey, I don't sell 500 houses a year. It's going to take me forever. But I've heard you say, well, you get, if there's two owners, you get both owners.
Yeah, we want the husband and wife, the partners, whoever it is.
The other
3 brothers or 3 sisters, right. It doesn't matter to us.
Doesn't matter. Agent on the other side of the deal. Vendors and affiliates. You get everyone, right?
It's how you ask. So let's say Debbie and I did a transaction together. At the end of the transaction, I would say, Debbie, I really enjoyed working with you. I thought you were, very communicative. Everything went smooth. We had a couple of hiccups and you handled them so professionally. I would love to leave you a 5-star review. Where could I do that for you?
So you're offering to do it for them.
And you're going to look at me and go, I don't know, on my Zillow or on my Facebook, whatever. I'm going to say, great. And I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do it. And it makes no difference because I'm going to take you from 5 reviews to 6. It's not changing anything. And then I say, would you mind leaving me one? And you say, sure, I guess. And then I give you my link and you go, you're 2105 or whatever it is, which is absolutely helping me. Our lenders, our title companies, our processors, our inspectors, like anyone in the transaction, a contractor comes over to the house to fix some repairs. Hey, would you mind leaving us a 5-star review? Sure. and then I'll leave him one. I don't mind. It's like anywhere you can get it, where they work with you for any reason, I want a 5-star review from that.
Okay, and you may get to this, but I'm just going to throw this out for you to remember. Lester is saying, how do I get my clients that left great reviews on Yelp and Zillow to put those reviews on Google? So why don't we go into the system now? Let's tell them how you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So number one thing that I want you guys to understand is you have to set the intention that you are going to provide 5-star review or 5-star reviewable service.
Okay.
It's not like you can just say, I'm going to ask for 5-star reviews, I'm going to get it. Everything in your business has to be built around delivering that 5-star promise. Okay. All of your systems, everywhere there's a hiccup, you need to be on it. All the expectations need to be set. All the reach outs and communication points. You actually need to build a 5-star level service business. And I think a lot of people miss that very first. The foundation of your team has to be built on that. So we look at it as if everything is built around that. Think about Disney. When Disney is communicating with you, is there anything else that I can do to help make your experience amazing? It's pretty much the same thing we say. Every single email, every single phone call ends with, Debbie, is there anything else we can do to make sure we're delivering on our 5-star promise?
I remember that from the last webinar. I just want to make that point that you have trained everyone on the team every time they interact with a client to say, now, is this the 5-star experience? Are you receiving that? So what you're programming is 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. You're doing that, you're providing, but you're also programming them throughout that entire transaction.
Every single time.
When you say, and this is an important point too, when you say, leave us a review, you don't say leave us a review. You say leave us, which I think everyone here is guilty of, including me in the past till you trained us. Now we say leave us a 5-star review, right?
Yep. Would you feel comfortable leaving us a 5-star review? Would you mind leaving us a 5-star review? And if somebody says no, I would much rather have that be told to me and they don't leave a review and we can talk about it and we can work on how we get better than send them off to a review site and have them go 5-star.
Right.
So but we're asking the entire transaction. So first, I've set up a business where level 5 service or 5-star service is our plan. It's everything we do to do it. Now I need to set those expectations. Debbie, is really great meeting with you, and I'm really excited to get started. Can I cover one more thing for you before I go?
Sure.
Great. So, Debbie, one of the things that we do on our team and one of the things we really, really cherish is our level of service. And we believe that the right communication and the right activities can create this 5-star service, if you will. And everything we've done and all our systems and everything we built is making sure we're delivering on the 5-star service that we're promising. So if you're okay with it, I'm going to be checking back in. My staff's going to be checking back in. We're going to constantly be making sure that we're delivering on that 5-star service for you because you deserve it. And you deserve to have that 5-star level service. Is that fair?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. And at the end of the transaction, if for any reason you feel like we haven't delivered on that 5-star service, I really hope that you'll share with me how we can get better. I think constructive criticism is the breakfast of champions. That's the only way we improve. But if we are delivering on that service, would you mind leaving us a 5-star review?
Oh, gosh, fine. I'd be happy to.
Okay, awesome. Now, the 5-star review is important. I'll also help all your friends and family, so I'm always here for them as well. If you love them, I love them. Fair?
Now, Nick, real quick question. Do you always wait until the end of the transaction to get the 5-star review?
Nah, that's just something I set the tone with day one.
Perfect.
Because I can't start with, so was this meeting good? Great. Can you leave me a 5-star review? That's going to feel awkward. So I say, hey, by the end of the transaction, this is what we're hoping for. Is that okay with you? They say yes. And then anytime they are thrilled, if we got beat out multiple offers and we won and we got them the house, man, how are you feeling, Deborah? Now, we're on fire. This is such an amazing process. Thank you so much, Nick. I got to ask, if you do one thing for me, would you mind leaving me a 5-star review right now so we can capture the exact way you feel? And they're like, oh my God, yeah. And their reviews are filled with passion and with energy and with excitement. And you can't pay for that type of advertising. At the end, if they say, Nick was great, okay. But if they say, my God, this team went over and above, there was 12 other offers, Nick knew the other agent and he was able to work the deal and we got da-da-da-da-da-da. I cannot believe we're moving into our dream home. That review speaks wonders for your.
See, I think this is a very important point. I want everyone to take away with all your other important points. There is no law, there is no rule that you have to wait until after the transaction closes. You do it in the moment, right? In that moment of the enthusiasm, the excitement. And even if you're waiting towards the end, I always advise clients, do it the week before, the week before the closing when they're still engaged with you, because once the deal closes, they've mentally moved on to Home Depot, right? But
my assistant says it best. He's single and he said, when do you ask for a second date?
Yeah.
When the first date is going well. You don't wait till after. And that makes me laugh every time he says it.
That's funny. So that's really critical, guys. You got to, and by the way, we are recording this. We are going to send it to you, and then you're going to be able to go back, re-listen, and break it down. Okay, so Nick, what's next?
So next, we have to set a scoreboard. We have to have some way to measure. If you're not measuring it, you can't change it. And we measure for a couple of different reasons. What if I'm seeing that only 25% of my clients are leaving 5-star reviews? What does that tell me about the level of service we're leaving?
Right.
Either we're not setting expectations, we're not delivering on that, or we're not asking for that 5-star review. One of those three things is happening. If I'm measuring it, I can tell. And then I can look, how do I fix that? So on our team, all of our admin are bonused when we hit 75% or more of our 5-star reviews. Now, actually, let me change that a little bit. They're bonused on every 5-star review we receive. Okay. Even if it's a husband and wife or a partner and partner, both reviews, they get financial payouts for both of those. Okay. But if they hit 75% or more, they get off 2 hours early the first Friday of every month for the next 3 months. And they love that more than the money. Sure. And like last year, we bonused, I think it was close to $22,000 in bonus money to our admin. So it's not a small amount of money. And they were just as excited to get off early the first Friday of the month for the next 3 months every quarter. So
what do you pay them per review?
We give them $25 per review, and that all goes into a pot and then gets split up among all of the admin who work on the files. So now when an agent says to me, oh man, Michelle has been so critical in this deal. She's been on top of everything. She's helped me so much. Nick, what can I do to show my appreciation? I'm really candid. Go get her 2 or 3 reviews. Yes. If there is a husband, wife, and a 17-year-old son, go get 3 reviews. That's $75 in her pocket. That is better than some flowers or some chocolate because it adds up over and over and over again. And she knows she gets that bonus of time off if we hit 75% or more. And we usually hit 75% 3 out of 4 quarters every year. And usually we have an off quarter where for whatever reason, they're not paying attention or they miss it. And then they're like bummed. And then the next quarter right after that, we hit 106% or something ridiculous because they're pulling all the reviews they missed last quarter and getting them right then.
So if they don't have a team or a large team, this could be if their TC is interacting with clients, right? This could be a way to bonus them and incentivize them. They could ask their lender, hey, can you mention, say, how you enjoying Nick? Yeah, he's a great guy. He's awesome. You know what he'd really appreciate? Hey, why don't you go on and give him a 5-star review? Here's his link, right? So you can rally your support people around you or do it yourself. Now, I know Don is asking, where does one post a review? So the mechanics of this.
That is a great thing. So Donna, like, I know you're a paid plant because you knew exactly where I was going to next. So let me just make sure we go back over the steps. One, you have to choose to set that level of service. You have to actually deliver it. Two, you have to set expectations and remind them over and over and over again what you expect from the transaction. Number three, you need to measure your success. You need to have a scoreboard that you're looking at every single week and comparing it against closings versus reviews gotten. I don't know if that's the correct English, but you know what I mean. And then there's number four is reward. So you're rewarding your team or rewarding your admin for what they're accomplishing. And number five is how you get them to leave the review. So was it Don who said that? Yeah. So yeah. Don, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to Google, type in Waldner Winners Team, then look for reviews, and then go. Did I lose you yet?
Yes.
Are you already like, Nick, I'm not doing any of that?
Right.
So here's what I want anybody watching to do. And this is important that you actually do it because it'll make a huge difference so you see exactly what this is. Pull out your phone. I know you're all probably on it anyway. Stop texting and do 2 seconds. Go to your phone, go into the search, and I want you to put in www.review.com. www.review.com. It's that simple. It's that easy. Now, the first thing that's going to pop up is there's going to be a row of stars. I want you to pick the star on the far right. Click that star on the far right. And then in the comments, write anything about my real estate team. They're knowledgeable. They're smart. They know Maryland. They're your trusted referral whenever you're sending clients to Maryland. Anything you want, and hit submit. And I say this in all honesty. I truly, truly, truly wish you would do this. It helps my team. It helps my business. Remember, I'm a real estate agent too. So I truly appreciate if you do this. But this is how easy you have to make it for your client. www.review.com. Click the star on the far right, write anything in the subject, and hit submit. That is how easy I've made it. I didn't send you to Google. I didn't give you this long, link that you couldn't understand with a bunch of random letters. I made it so easy that I can speak it, that I can just tell you www.review.com, and it takes you right to the exact spot. Now, the next question you're going to ask me, Nick, how do I do this? One, I want to start by saying I really appreciate you if you left that review. And now, as a thank you, I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that. You just go to GoDaddy or any of the sites to pick a domain for yourself. The domain needs to be super, super simple. So it would be DebbieReview.com. It would not be Debbie@forwardcoachingreview.com. Way too long. It's got to be super, super simple. Forwardreview.com, something like that. Debbie, what's yours?
Jess, you're in there. You want to type it in the chat box?
Yeah. So if you notice, she's going to do something really simple and really easy. So like if you're the Oakmont team, it might be oakreview.com. Something you can say it and somebody can write it very easily.
Because you want them to be able to literally pull out their phone and do it very quickly, right?
Yeah.
And so then on that thought, I want to go back to something. You're very directive. You say, go here. So see, Jess, is ours too long, Nick? Forwardcoachingreview.com?
You tell me.
It seems based on what you just said, Jess, I think we can. Now, can you change it?
Yeah, you can have more than one. You can have more than one because what it is, it's just a vanity site that directly links to the exact spot in Google where you want them to go. Perfect. So think about it this way. If you were getting out of an Uber and you said, "Oh, Mr. Driver, I really enjoyed the trip with you. I'm going to leave you a 5-star review. Would you mind leaving me one?" And they look at you like, "What?" Grab your phone, go to www.review.com. I could say that to an Uber driver who's dropping me off, and they could figure it out very quickly.
So that's we could do like easy. FC, forward coaching, FCreview.com.
Love it. Love it.
Jess, you're on it.
Simple. Now, if you go to anyone else's phone, don't go to your phone because it won't quite make sense. But if you go to anyone else's phone and you Google forward coaching on Google and it pops up, and then you see where the reviews are, you click review, and then there's a button that says leave a review, and you press leave a review, then look up at the top at the web address. It's like google.com/forward coaching /DB, all that nonsense. Mm-hmm. You're just going to copy that web page, and that's where you're going to send your vanity site to. So anytime somebody goes to www.review.com, what they're really going to is google.com/Waldner Winners Team /business ABC / blah, 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 blah. All the stuff that you would never be able to tell somebody. So you're just creating a simple vanity plate that sends them to the direct spot in Google where they don't have to think about it. They don't have to do anything. Now, one of you on here wasn't logged into Google and it asked you, hey, log into Google before you do this. That's completely normal. And 1 in 20 or 1 in 30 actually aren't logged into Google. Most of us are logged in at all times. So it's never a problem. You're also going to have some older people that are like, I don't want a website. I'm not going. That's fine. That's why we set a goal of 75%. You're also going to have some people that are like, don't ask for a review from them. That transaction went terrible.
Or they're a little unusual.
Yeah. Right? I had a friend of mine, and I've taught this to some other industries as well. And I had a friend who's a doctor, and he actually does the reviews as well. And he realizes, as a local doctor, if I have reviews, people call me over other doctors. So he's kind of ahead of the curve on that. And he had a 4-star review, and it said 4 stars. It said, Dr. Johansson saved my life, ! And he replied to it, I have no idea how to earn 5 stars from you.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great one. So a couple of quick questions. Oh, and Serena, by the way, good to see you out there. And serenareview.com. I mean, that seems easy enough, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. And Lindsay is saying, is this the same thing as making a shorter link with Bitly or one of those?
You can do it with something like that. But it doesn't flow off the tongue. If I say, just go to bit.ly.com/Nick.
I can see this makes a lot of sense. So
pay the $14 a year and create a site that's so
absolutely simple. So Danny is saying, will this automatically then input the review to the Google site? So when they do that, that automatically goes to the Google site?
Yeah, Danny's obviously very old, very backwards. He doesn't understand these things. So, Danny, come on, man. I just told you we went to Google, went to the review page, went to leave a review. Danny's a buddy of mine. I'm just playing with you.
Okay.
But yes, by going to google.com, by going to your page, by going to the review and clicking the button, leave a review, and then going up to the web page, which is google.com, blah, 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 right. You're sending them directly to the Google spot.
So I'm going to jump around a little, but Sharon is asking an awesome question for those of you who have a team. How do you get your agents to buy into this? Because I believe that what I've heard you say, if they're individually getting their reviews, it's not going to be as powerful to get GCI and leads for the team.
That's a great point. And some agents feel like, man, I kind of want my own review page. Any agent on their own is going to get 30 or 40 or 50, and it's not going to make any difference. Okay. They're not going to get to 1,000. But we need to offer agents something where it's a bonus for them as well. So we know the admin are getting the bonus of financial rewards and time off.
Okay.
For the agents, what they want is the same thing. They want social proof. They want authority. They want people to look at them and make a decision without them even open their mouth. So every one of our agents has their own website. And obviously, everybody with Place, everybody on your team has their own website. And we use a site called Elfsite, I think, Elfster, something like that. And any review that has their name on it. So if Debbie's on my team, I create a page for Debbie. It has some great pictures of Debbie. It talks about her family, how long she's been in real estate, And then directly under that, we import every review that has Debbie's name on it. So
it comes to the team, and then you import it.
Yep. So every review with Debbie's name shows up under her page. So if I go to Debbie's page, Debbie says, "Hey, Nick, it was really great meeting you. I can't wait to, have our first meeting or listing appointment next week. Let me send you my website just so you have a little bit of information about me. You know who's coming." I send that link, and now it's picture of me, Debbie, a little information about me and my experience, a little information about my family, so I get to know her. And then it's tons of reviews with Debbie, and every one of them has Debbie's name in it. And now they read 3 or 4 or 7 or 10, or maybe they go crazy and read 30 of them. And every one of them is talking about how great Debbie is. That's what you want. And that's what all of our agents want before they go on the appointment. So they send the link, and that's the easiest way to set them up for success.
So you get the best of everything. They get the team massive reviews to generate GCI, which generates leads for the team, but then they still get pulled over and onto their own page, right?
Exactly.
So Dana's asking suggestions. So going back in time, maybe you have old reviews that are written, or they are on those other sites. What exactly, again, do you do to get them to just say, could you also, you said this to me 2 years ago, and it would really help me if we could move this to Google? I mean, how do you do it?
So Debbie, you actually nailed it when you said this 2 years ago. We're going to clean it up a little bit, but I'm going to copy and paste the review they had. I'm going to put it in an email, and I'm going to say, "Hey, Debbie, it's Nick. Hope you're doing well. I have a huge favor to ask. If you wouldn't mind, we're trying to build up our reviews on our local Google page. Here's the review you left us on Zillow or whatever. Would you mind clicking on this link, www.review.com, and just reposting it here? It would mean the world to us." Mm-hmm. And that's it. And you reach out. And a lot of times we'll call first and just, "Hey, we have a contest. We're trying to build up our reviews. Would it be okay if I sent you your old review and you just copy and pasted it to Google?" And they're like, "Sure, no problem." Not everybody's going to do it. And don't be offended by that. People are busy. And we think it's a direct, "Oh, they didn't like us, they won't do it." No, they're just busy and they don't have time for it. That's fine. But a lot of them will.
A lot of them will. And something I had my husband do is I had him, as soon as they said they would do it, write a handwritten thank you note. "Thank you so much for taking the time to do the review for us on," I love that. Reminding him where. "And I wanted to buy you a cup of coffee on me." He throws in a $5 Starbucks card because, see, guys, that triggers another psychological thing, which is theory of reciprocity. Mm-hmm. So they don't do the review. They forgot. They get the thank you card. They get the Starbucks card right there. It says where to go do the review. And they go, "Oh, crap, I forgot to do that. Let me go back and pull up that email." But before, you answer Sharon's question, she wants to go right back through the technical part again. Nick, I know there's a lot of services out there where they say, "We're going to automate this for you. We'll send it at the close." Honestly, I have never seen that be more than tiny. This is a proactive, all-in campaign. You got
there's a couple of things. One, people are like, "Well, Nick, I'm going to send them a review link and they're going to do Google, Zillow, Yelp, and Facebook." It's not going to work, guys. People are not looking to leave you 5 paragraphs of reviews. You're hoping to get one, and you should appreciate the one. So if you know that one is your goal, pick the site that's going to give you the biggest recognition from it, the one where everybody's already going. Sharon, I appreciate what you're saying, but on a Zoom like this, it's very hard to get really technical. So if you ask somebody, "Here's what I need. I want a vanity site pointed to the exact location where somebody leaves a review for my Google page." Say that to anyone with some technical background. They can easily help you out. I couldn't even tell you every single step of it. I asked somebody exactly like it.
Google it.
Yeah, exactly. Google, exactly. Right?
and get it. Okay, so anything else, Nick, that we might have missed?
No, you hit this pretty hard.
Yeah.
Anybody who did leave me a review, I truly appreciate it. We want to build our reviews just like anybody else at www.review.com. So I truly thank you for that. And I hope that this is a payback for that review so that you can go and start dominating your market. Wait, if you're in Maryland, don't set this up.
Right. Well, and I just had a quick thought. I don't know. I wonder if you ever have done this. Would it make any sense if you're sending out a pre-listing or a pre-buyer consult appointment? Obviously, you could send them to check these out, but would you ever print this and say, like, real people and 2,147 amazing stories? It's like a thud factor, like, boom, here you go, right?
That would be a book. That would be a book.
That would be a book. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. You will get a copy of this recording. Nick is asking, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? I have no idea why.
It's mint chocolate chip. Come on, Nick. Everybody knows. Mint chocolate chip.
Yeah, no idea why, but whatever. And you will get a copy of this tomorrow. I think you'll be watching for it, right, Jess? It'll arrive, get processed, and arrive in their inbox. And Nick, thank you so much for joining us. And I think, we're always looking for the magic pill, the magic answer, the secret to making money faster. This is one thing that requires some work, but if they think about their sphere, their past clients, their vendors, their affiliates, both 1, 2, 3, 4 parties in the transaction, it would not take that long to get to 1,000. So that's your first goal, then beyond. All right, guys.
I love it.
Have a great day. We'll talk.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Nick. Bye-bye.